Hello. Hello, you beautiful badgers. Happy weekend. Da, 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 da. Warren! Warren has returned. Hello, sir. How you doing? Oh, right. I'm going to do some more logo design today. If you've been following the many streams, you might recognize this little beauty from... When was it? Yesterday. Was it yesterday?
Was that?
I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, it was yesterday, wasn't it? My goodness. The days just like blend at this point. I've got no idea where I am. It should be up now. Bush. Right. Oh, thank you, Masum. Masum Bella. Hey, Nick. How are you doing? Art graphic design. Hello. Raquel! I feel like I need a little trumpet or something for Raquel. James Wells, hey, good to see you. How are you doing this fine day? I mean, if you're in the UK, it's actually cooled down a little bit now. Finally, outside. Today's just not as crispy hot, thank goodness.
In Bristol, anyway.
In Bristol, yeah. I wouldn't say no to a bit of rain. What about you, Raquel? Have you got beautiful sunshine in Portugal, or have you got some rain today? I guess you're probably used to it, aren't you? If you live in Portugal, you've got nicer weather anyway, so you just get accustomed to it. Whereas in this country, it's like a lucky dip. Oh, let's have a rummage around. What's the weather going to be today? Oh, snow, followed by, sunny spells.
Mostly rain.
But mostly rain, yes. Snow, bit of rain, sun, and then just grey, all within the space of 10 minutes.
And then we get sunshine, and everyone's really excited about it. And then everyone's like, "Oh, I don't like the sun."
we're such grumblers, aren't we? We're just like, it's grey, bloody weather, blah, 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 blah. Sun comes out. It is too hot. I don't like it. And I am a culprit for that. I'm a ginger. I don't do well in the sun.
But the sun here is so different to the sun on holiday. When you're somewhere like Spain, you've got air conditioning.
Yeah, I've got air conditioning.
But here, with no air conditioning, aircon, it's just not nice.
Yeah, we don't have like a pool to jump into. Raquel, do you have air conditioning where you live? Oh, day and night.
Oof.
Yeah, I need AC. Oh, where we used to live in Spain was lovely. It was like a little apartment thing on a complex, and it had AC, and there was like a shared pool outside as well. So like working on like design projects and stuff. Ugh, I don't even want to talk about the client that we won't even go there. My God, the worst client I've ever worked with. But oh God, I literally have some form of PTSD from that Skype ringtone. Every time Skype went off, it was like it was triggering. It's like a twitch. But there was like a pool outside. There was a pool, so you could just finish work and then just go outside and sit in a damn pool and just, oh no, a fan. Oh my goodness. Your mum's got AC. Yeah, we've got a big like industrial fan that we have. We turned our garage into a home gym like a few years ago. And so we've brought this massive fan into the lounge now. So of an evening we'll just be sat there and it'll be warm. Sounds like an aeroplane. Oh dear. Similar temperature here in Trinidad. Trinidad and Tobago is the Caribbean. I know, I didn't know that until the other day when we were talking about it, Nick. Yeah, I've got no idea. In fact, I'm gonna Google Trinidad. I want to see some pictures. Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, it honestly, just look at it. It looks ridiculous. Not in like a where you live is ridiculous. It looks incredible.
I want to go there. Oh,
Nick, what's it like living in Trinidad? Like, have you lived there your whole life? Like, tell us as British people, we've got no idea. What's it like? Because when you Google pictures, it
It looks
looks
beautiful.
stunning. Yeah. Why do we live in this country again? Nah, the UK is all right, but like I can't tell if what I'm looking at is like the like most luxurious resorts or if it's like an actual representation of what Trinidad is like. Ooh, lots of quirky, colourful houses. Client never fully satisfied. Yeah. Oh yeah. Let me show you what I'm looking at. Sorry. Um, yeah, I think never satisfied is probably when describing that client is putting it politely.
Oh wow, that's cute.
Just so much green. I love that shot. I mean, that's an incredible shot anyway. I mean, it looks lush. I don't know. Maybe there's tigers and bears in the jungle. I've got no idea. I've got no idea. I'm an idiot when it comes to knowledge
Oh,
about the Caribbean or anything. That just looks. Oh, I mean, take me there now.
Michelle's sister and husband went there for their honeymoon.
Oh, really?
Maybe we could go there for ours.
It didn't take you long to get in on there.
Scenery is stunning for sure.
Oh,
No. I feel like people take it for granted when they live
somewhere.
places.
Yeah, there's
Like
yeah,
England's like there are really beautiful parts of
there
England.
are. Probably just need to get out more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so this is apparently it was yesterday we were live. I don't know, my brain's melting at this point. But I've had sleep today. Had a big sleep. So we kind of had the this is the mark. This is pretty much going ahead as is. So that is the hard part. I feel like picking colors and messing around with fonts is it's the home stretch now, you know. The logo mark itself was the hardest bit. That's in the bag. So lots of different kind of type lockups. Jason did mention that I think he liked this font. So I customized it yesterday a little bit, but I'm probably going to leave that alone, actually. And then there is a reason for that. Where's my custom one? I lost it now. Sorry, I do bits on stream and bits off stream, and then I move things around. Where's the custom one? Damn. Ah, here it is. just in case you're wondering why I'm so lost, it's not that I'm completely clueless. It's just look at all these designs. It's ridiculous. Right. So yesterday we probably spent the entire stream going through the process of customizing a letter K. And whilst I like the top one, and I think everyone else did, I'm probably going to leave it unchanged. And the reason for that is because thinking beyond the logo, Jason might want to use this font as one of his brand fonts, which does make sense, and it's pretty cool as well. The uppercase looks pretty straightforward, right? Doesn't look that unique apart from the K. But when you actually apply it to lowercase, you can see it's quite interesting. It's got rounded edges, very typical sans serif, but then we've got the very angular lettering as well, which I think does lean into that sort of industrial style a bit more, but it still looks clean and modern. So it's unique and it stands out. And so the lowercase lettering actually does work quite well. And I'll show you some use cases of that in a minute that I've kind of mocked up. So if I go and change the K in the logo and then every other K when we're using that for other brand stuff is this one, I thought, you know what? Just leave it alone, Dan. Just leave it alone. The current K is fine. We'll just leave it as it is. So I missed quite a bit of the process. Did not realize it's got so many variations. Yeah, I mean, I can't remember when did you first start watching the streams, Nick? Because in fairness, we started this months ago. It might have even been last year. I'd have to go back and look. because I said I would do this logo for Jason and I would stream the process and it would be really interesting to kind of for everyone to come along and just work on this thing together. But then all the course stuff happened and I was making all the courses. So that pretty much took me out for like 2 or 3 months. So it was started a long time ago. This bit up here is the work from before. And then a lot of this stuff down here is what we've done in the last week. And apparently now we're shooting up the right hand side. So yeah, it's there's been a big gap with this process. Lots of waterfalls as well. No bears or lions or tigers. Okay, just thought I'd check just in case I visit. Yeah, it was a pleasant surprise. I kind of initially picked it because I really liked the uppercase lettering, and Jason sort of pointed out he liked it as well. Lots of variations here. You can see playing around with the rule of thirds, which can be very useful for sizing things up and taking out some of that guesswork. More of a guideline, though. You know, you don't have to kind of live and die by this. You know, it's like this thing here. This doesn't really follow the rule of thirds, but it kind of depends what you're going for. And it depends what words you've got as well. You know, in this example, with this use of it, I would arguably say that actually the word inspired, sorry, is too big compared to this text. So it's a really good trick and it's really useful, but I would just take it with a grain of salt sometimes.
Have you said about the thing that I spotted yet?
We're getting there, Poppy. Don't worry. You'll get your moment, love. Poppy did a thing. Poppy spotted something that I didn't notice in the design. And so that's kind of where it got to. It was like, right, I think we're pretty, yeah, around here. This was the point last night about 2 a.m. No, this was midnight actually, where I was like, we are getting somewhere. We are getting somewhere. Size-wise, we're looking good. Landscape orientation, portrait orientation. This thing, it flexes. That's fantastic. Yeah, tried a couple different weights. I feel like this one's a bit too long, you know, having it all written out. 1 word or 2 words is a lot easier, but we've got 3 words. So maybe I have a conversation with Jason about just changing his name to Inkspired, but that's that's probably not going to happen. So that's just what it is. We've got to deal with it. So then I started playing around with color. Now I'm just going to show you all of these. This is the reject pile. So this here is the reject pile. Oh, look at that lettering, beautiful. So these are the rejects, and I kind of started experimenting with different colors. Went with something a bit more like this at first, just trying to get in some more of those like golds and browny colors that were in an example that Jason liked. So kind of experimenting with like whites, blacks, browny colors, all this kind of stuff. And I think it does look cool, but there's a couple of problems with this in that, you know, we're not just trying to create something that looks cool. This needs to fit and match the brand aesthetic that we want to go for and what we want to convey. And I can't remember what time it was. It was around about midnight, give or take. And I started watching some of Jason's YouTube videos and just hearing Jason talk about how he goes around New York and he's often in different parts of New York at the weekend on Saturdays, whether it's Central Park or whatever. Hearing him talk about design, the passion, the community aspect, the fun, the freedom, all these different things. Just watching even just a few minutes of one of Jason's videos and hearing him talk about it, it just made me realize that this is like a really cool mark, liking the lettering, but there's not enough fun in it. And I feel like at that point, my brain was like, okay, this is a good opportunity now to work on the color and try and introduce some of that fun, free, passion-driven community energy. So this color palette, this was just, no, that doesn't really convey any of that at all. So that's the kind of difference. When you're thinking about color in terms of logo design, making something look nice is not really that difficult. You could look at that and go, wow, that looks really cool. But there's so many different things wrong with this. And it doesn't actually fit what we're trying to go with as well. So did some reversed out versions that kind of are less linear and using solid fill instead, but Not a big fan of that. What else? Yeah, this was the pile where it was kind of all the reject designs went. This one's kind of cool. Maybe color and just like a, what is this? Really dark gray color for the type, but I don't know. Yeah, it just didn't feel quite right. And yeah, so here, right. So yellow is one of the colors that Jason does use a lot, and his current logo or the previous logo had orange in it. So I was like, okay, I know that Jason likes orange because when he did his own logo before, he used orange and he uses yellow, orange, yellow. There could be like a gradient in there, something quite nice. You know, we've got the sun in the sky here as well, so yellowy, orange, whatever. But when you start introducing color into this element here and pulling out the pencil so that becomes more prominent, you actually almost kind of ruin the bridge in a way. The bridge doesn't really become as obvious. And you got to be careful that sometimes, you know, we know what we're looking at. We've been staring at this for a while now. But to someone else coming in, looking at this completely fresh, are they going to be able to see it the same way we're seeing it? You know, whereas I think when you've got all of these different elements and they're all completely neutral, they all stand out equally, you know, and we're using thicker strokes to determine the structure of the pencil on the bridge and the location pin for travel. And then we've got the thinner weight for the incidental details. As soon as you start introducing color, you're kind of upsetting that balance, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but if you're going to upset it and disrupt it, it's probably a better word, you've got to do it in a way that it doesn't screw up being able to see the different elements. Does that make sense? So for me here, making the pencil more prominent, I mean, it uses too many colors anyway, I think, and it just upsets that balance, makes one element more prominent than the other. So then I experimented with this one. So instead, trying to not just highlight the pencil, but highlight the bridge as well. So we've got the gradient. I didn't really go with the gradient in the end because it's nice, but it's very, very subtle. And I don't know. Yeah, I think sometimes gradients in logos can look really good, but it's just very, very subtle here. It's kind of pointless. Did you make more than $1 million with graphic design till now? Absolutely not. No, I mean, yeah, I mean, I've not been, I don't really do professional projects. I've not done them for a long time. A lot of stuff I do is passion projects or projects like this where I just, you know, I want to scratch that creative itch a little bit, and I'm like, yeah, do you know what? Go on, let's do it. Let's have some fun. Um, but no, yeah, I have started doing project work again. I'm going to take on like a limited number just because I really do miss it. I love working on logo and branding projects. So yeah, I could probably do like maybe one, two at a push a month or something. We'll see. But yeah, I do miss it. But the teaching side's really, really good, but I feel like the creative in me needs to have a project like this where I can kind of get my teeth stuck into something, you know? I have a tip. Follow the brief. Yeah. So yeah, this was definitely a step in the right direction because I think it doesn't disrupt the different elements as much as the other ones, so it doesn't pull the pencil out more. You've got the bridge highlighted here, but you've got the pencil there. But then, there was another version actually that I think just had the pencil tip, and I don't know where it's gone. I've lost it. It's kind of like this, but in yellow. But my thought was, it just having that little bit of orange or yellow or whatever color it is, you know, is that enough color? Does that really help get across the whole sort of fun element? And probably about half an hour ago, Poppy noticed something that this is your moment, Poppy, that is actually amazing. So I think the logo, if you've seen the breakdown of how this came together, is pretty clever. I'm pretty proud of it actually.
Poppy.
No, this is King Dan. This is all me. This bit.
No.
This is my moment. So you've got the pencil, which is the drawing aspect. You've got the location pin as the travel. The circle for the pin kind of doubles up as a sunrise, and then you've got the bridge as well.
What did I do, Dan?
And that's coloured wrong there. There we go. And then together it makes the mark. So that's how it all sort of comes together. Hey, Jason! Da 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 da! The man himself. So the idea here was I took that bit of yellow, a colour that I think is a lot more fun, that Jason uses often in his work. And I put this, I had this as the pencil originally, and then Poppy said, oh, why don't you just add it as the yellow for the sun? All right, sunrise, sunset, whatever. And I was like, oh yeah, okay. That gets a little bit more yellow in there. And then Poppy pointed out that actually the nib of the pen here doubles up as the reflection of the sun in the water under the bridge. I was just like,
Yeah.
that's genius. I didn't even mean to do that. I didn't even notice that before. I was just so focused on this being a pencil, but it's actually the reflection of the sun, water under the bridge. It's just perfect. It was just meant to be. And so the color then had to be yellow or orange. It has to be, right? It's, so because Jason uses a lot of yellow in his work, it's a very prominent color. It's a nice, fun color. There's a lot. And suns can be yellow, and pencils can be yellow. It was like, okay, I feel like we can't have it green, or blue. We're not having a blue sun. So I feel like it sort of naturally evolved this way. But I didn't even see that. Yeah, it's a little bit. It's a little bit of a happy accident, Everything else was very considered, and then Poppy was like, "Oh yeah, that just doubles up as the reflection." I'm like, "Oh, chef kiss." So, and there's just a bit more fun in there. There's a bit more fun, and it is kind of, just to throw something else in there, it is very similar to Jason's style. Jason's style is there's like a lot of line work in it, but then there's splashes of color. It's not like just whoosh color everywhere or no color at all. So it is kind of a subtle representation of Jason's style, line work, splashes of color. I feel like the stars have aligned on this one. The stars have aligned. Oh, hello, cat. I feel like the stars really have aligned, and it's just come together really nicely. The yellow is a pop of lemon freshness. I love it. Maybe there's scope to use that in something else. Yellow for that pop of lemon freshness, and we'll do like a badge or something. New tagline. Not sketching the world one line at a time. Just yellow for that
Life
pop
gives you lemons,
of lemon
you
freshness.
sketch.
When life gives you lemons, you sketch. Oh my goodness, I love it. Do you know what? Let's just change the whole thing. Let's change the whole logo. Instead, we're going to have a lemon. There we go. I love it. Fantastic idea, Poppy. There we go, Jason. Oh, dear me. So yeah, and this is so basically I started up here. I was like, okay, we've got the mark, the type, we've got like a really nice lockup. Having it central kind of flexes quite nicely between the vertical stack and then the side by side. This is I'll show you some mock-ups in a minute as well. This is going to be really good for web stuff. And then if there's a bit more space, how it looks together. There's the mark on its own. And then Jason, tell me if you would need this or not. I did a version that just has Inkspired. So I don't know whether you would ever just use the word Inkspired. If not, then I'll get rid of that. If it's always going to be the Inspired Life exactly as it is, just let me know and I'll scrub that one. But I thought I'm just going to mock it up so you could see how it could look if you wanted to use it. White on black. Again, I think this probably wouldn't be used as much. I think this sort of design works much better dark on a light background. And I think as well, aesthetically fitting with the whole vibe and everything, I feel like it would, this sort of the light mode version, if you like, would be a better fit. But at least, you know, as a one color print, this design does work. And then again, just showing it on a solid color as well. So whether that was kind of a dark version or light, you know, might have to, let's check accessibility on that. I think the dark one will pass, but we should probably check. We'll check the light version. Background color. Is that the background color? Yeah, yellow. And then this is white. I don't know if that will pass. Yeah, no, that's a complete fail. But that's not necessarily something that would be used. And I think the dark version, I think this will pretty much pass most of it. It fails this one here. I'm not entirely sure what that actually is. I'm honestly not much of an accessibility person. And I think that's more for normal text. I think the AAA probably includes some other stuff. If Rianne were here, if Rianne's here, I know she would have a much better answer for that than me. I could go and look it up actually, to be fair. But this would be, I think this is smaller text, so like normal, yeah, body copy. Graphical objects, interface components, yeah, we got to pass. Large text, we got to pass. So I think we're good. But it's worth considering that. So these are all the different ways that it could be used, and it's just making sure that all the bases are covered depending on the different applications. In fact, Jason, seeing as you're here, it would be really good actually to, actually no, this probably might be in the brief. I was going to say get a list of different places that it would be used. Where is it? There we go, Rako, we're back to the brief. Yeah, where will it be used? Okay, so websites, business cards. Ooh, this one's blank. So I'm guessing it was just all of the above. So website, we'll look at that in a sec. I don't know if you're planning on getting any signage done. Maybe merchandise. Would you have t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, pens, pencils, notepads, anything like that? Social media, yeah, of course. You've got a YouTube channel, so cover art. Facebook, cover art. So, and rather than me just, like, obviously, like, we're considering color, but then, of course, we're also considering the end use as well. So these are some very kind of crude mock-ups of a website, social media platform with your avatar and your cover art, and then your web version. So there's lots of different ways you could do the web version. You know, when we're on mobile, you could just have the Inspired Life. You could just have the logo mark of the pencil on the bridge itself. Either way are going to work pretty well. And then as you go up to tablet, you know, you could switch it out for that. So it's just, the whole thing just has this flexibility for size, spacing, landscape, vertical, and we're just covering it. And here you can see the font as well. I love this. I love it. Like the font, it's just got that quirkiness. It's got the angles, the architectural element a bit more in the lettering, and it's original as well. It has like a much more original flavor. I think maybe here for the body. So this could be your main headline font. And then for the body copy, I've not even actually looked at this, but you know, you could pick a more normal sans serif, user UI friendly font, and then keep this more for your headline stuff. Oh. Let's sample that same font. Yeah. So we're just, this isn't, I think I will actually, I will go and do like a homepage mock-up. And so, sorry, I'm going to bombard you with more questions, Jason. I went on your website and I think it's down at the moment. Well, maybe it's being redone or something. What would you actually typically have in the top part of your website on the homepage? I'd love to mock up the homepage to kind of see how it looks. This is more just checking the logo can work and can flex across different bits and bobs. So here on a social media thing, you've got your tagline, you've got space for the mark, and then you've got the brand name there. So kind of near the mark. So you don't need to have the Inspired Life written in here because it would be here. But to do like a proper mock-up, like it would be really good to understand what sort of content. I think here I've just kind of thrown in a carousel, you know. So would you have the products that you do, or would it be courses, or would they be coaching, or I don't know, maybe that some of that's in the brief. I went onto the current site to try and get an idea, and then I was like, oh no, it's not live anymore. So any information about what you would typically have right at the top of the website header, what you're looking to sell or promote or whatever, honestly, just feed that stuff into me, and then I can build this out into more of a comprehensive web mock-up. And it's fun doing this as well, not only because it's really necessary, but because most of my career has actually been spent in web and UI design. I've got more commercial experience doing web and UI than I do logos. Like I enjoy logos and branding the most, I think, out of probably almost anything. Kind of that and Photoshop. But it's lush being able to do something like this and then dive back into some UI and web and UI stuff as well. So it's not just like, oh, let's just throw together a mock-up and see how it looks. It's like, nah, we're going to do a mock-up for the homepage, and it's gonna have not just a UI approach, but it's going to have good UX as well. You know, it's very easy to design something that looks pretty, but the amount of websites I see that functionally don't really do what they should be doing, you know. Sometimes you can just have a massive carousel at the top, and then people don't even have a call to action or some text or a button or any kind of link, and it's like, what is this wasted opportunity here? So when I go to do those sorts of mock-ups, that's the angle that I'm coming from. It's someone who kind of for many years, and arguably still now, very much lives and breathes UI UX stuff, and I drive everyone insane around me as well. Oh, right. Hang on. Let me write this down. So, yeah, no, the white on yellow I don't think would be particularly good. What would look better as a PNG with a transparent background? Oh, what? So how could it look with an image behind it? That would be another good mock-up to do. So social media. Mugs. Ooh, sketchbook covers. Yeah, so something like the sketchbook cover, that might be an instance actually, depending on the design, where, you know, block yellow for the cover actually is useful, maybe. We will see. Looking clean and crisp. Fantastic. What are you cooking? Oh, we're continuing the cooking session from many moons ago. Hey, Andrea. Oh, you didn't? Oh no! Did you not know about your website? Yeah, I thought you'd like taken it down and you were like about to relaunch a thing or something. Upcoming. Okay, right. Let me write this down as well. Mock up considerations. And by the way, if you do want to learn Illustrator with me, and you're thinking about getting into design, and you like logo design, graphic design, icon design, typography, lettering, all that stuff, I do have my full Illustrator courses. There's a beginner one and then a more advanced masterclass, and they are linked in the stream description. And oh, Poppy's just shared a link. Fantastic. Yeah. So, and it doesn't matter what course you enroll in. You know, if you enroll in any course, I'm there to support you as well. So if you have questions about, you know, should I do this or should my logo do that or whatever, I'm there in the Discord like every day. And as you know, I don't really sleep. So sometimes people message me and it's like 2 or 3 a.m. here and then they get a reply. It's like, oh my God, why are you not in bed? I had Andrea telling me to go to bed the other day. Oh, that's funny. Right, what am I doing? Right. Upcoming workshops. And that would probably be another fun stream, actually, to do the mock-ups and do the UI stuff. Because I wouldn't want to half-ass that. I'd want to do some proper, nice stuff. Link to my online store. Right, so store link. Yeah, so the more information you can feed me about exactly what would go on the homepage, Jason. I'm on the chat with GoDaddy. Okay, well, I'm happy to help, sir. Bring this to your attention. What links would you have? So, in fact, let's do it this way. Links. So workshops, store. I'm guessing a contact. Would you have a student login? Are you Kajabi? Have I imagined that? Are you Kajabi as well? Would you have like a student login button on the site? Sorry, Jason, I'm going to bombard you with questions now. Kyle, hello. Good to see you again. How you doing, my friend?
My friend.
How you doing, my friend? Happy Saturday. I imagine a sketching brand that has world domination in creativity and creative mindset with sketching architecture and urban sketching the world around you one light at a time. That has world domination. We're going to put that. We'll get a picture of Jason and we're just going to have, I'm going to feed it into ChatGPT and be like, I need this guy looking like he is dominating New York City. I think what we're going to do is we'll have, instead of the Statue of Liberty, we're going to have Jason holding the torch, all the small buildings around him covered in like yellow paint or something. That would be amazing, actually. Ooh, maybe we could do that. I do love me a bit of AI image generation. It is quite fun. Okay, right. I love it. Okay, so world domination goal. Fantastic. Get a bit of world domination in there. Lovely. Oh, that's a good question. Do you ever sketch at night? Click funnels for the store. Okay, Kajabi. Yeah, right. So there would be like a student login on there somewhere, wouldn't there? I don't know if you use digital painting apps, but what's your rankings? Stuff like Procreate, Clip Studio? No, not really. I do know I've used Procreate before, and I think it is brilliant. Not from like a painting aspect though. More of like a sketching ideas for logos and things. Oh, I just thought, yeah, live stream sketching. Okay, so there might be a link to live streams as well. And we'd need to get social links in there as well. So YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Yeah. I love doing this live process. It's really fun, I think. It's fun for me, but I think hopefully it's interesting as well for everyone to see the sort of process happening behind the scenes. But also, yeah, how are you finding it, Jason? From what would be a client perspective, being able to actually see the design happen live and then feed into that process. Because I really like it. I'm just curious, kind of what it's like from your side as well. Online live streams, online workshops, courses. Okay, cool. And then yeah, I guess the store would be stuff like sketchbooks, mugs, and merch. Would there be like an about section? You know, who you are and a bit of blurb, picture, that sort of thing. I'm loving this. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I feel like it would be kind of different because like when I used to work with clients, I didn't have like the online following and I didn't stream or anything. But you know, if I'm starting to work on projects for clients again, I feel like it'd be really, I feel like it'd be interesting to say like, would you be happy for this process to be happening live? And then if you do want to join the lives and feed into it and have that conversation as it happens, rather than just, the design will be done in 2 weeks and I'll send it over. You kind of get to see the whole process happening. I don't know. Maybe that opens up a can of worms for me. The client kind of going, move it up, move it down, change it around. I don't know. Quick question, no need to go into depth. Is there a possibility I might facilitate a layouting workshop for my church literature club? What would be your important topics to cover off the top of your head? Okay. There's a possibility I might facilitate a layout workshop. When you say layout workshop, are you talking about layout in terms of design or like graphic design posters? What sort of, yeah, what sort of layout are you talking about? Would you be using Photoshop or Illustrator? Yeah, like are we talking about layout in terms of graphic design in general, principles, that kind of stuff? This interaction's amazing. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's interesting to know. That's really, really useful. I'm going to, it's going to hit, sorry, I read that as I'm going to hit 40 tomorrow. You just suddenly just jumped to 40. Goodness me. Is that Celsius, Andrea?
Ooh.
That's got to be Celsius, isn't it?
Where's Andrea?
Andrea is, I think, Andrea, you're in Romania, aren't you?
Oh,
I'm pretty sure it's Romania.
no.
Oh,
Too
wow.
hot.
I mean, I don't know anything about you, Romania, really. I have no idea if it's hot or about section. Okay. Goodness me. That is toasty. Oh, 40 degrees. That is. Oh, okay. Yeah. As an architect, I totally appreciate the value of client interaction. Yeah. Okay. Cool. You need to invade a bear cave during the sun. Andrea goes out hunting bears. Oi, you, this cave. Sling your hook. Get out of here. This is my cave now.
Get out my face.
Get out. Is that an EastEnders reference?
Yeah.
Get out my cave. Mm. Oh dear. Oh, Peggy. Mm, yeah, I mean, hopefully this whole process has been helpful. Kind of, if you're, if you're interested in logo design, or even if you're not really, just seeing the thought process behind what goes into creating a logo and all the different considerations. There's so many different things. You change one thing and then it might upset or not work for something else. And I think we still need a palette as well. So let's just grab some gray, go like 50% gray ish. Let's get some swatches. So we're going to have the white and what's this color here? It's not black. It's got a hint of orangey yellow. It's like gray, but not completely desaturated. So there's like a little bit of warmth to the gray. And then yellow. Yeah, so we could go with a minimal palette, and then we could add some secondary colors. I don't know. And this is why it's good to do the mock-ups as well, because as you start building out other applications for the logo and the branding as a whole, you might think, oh, actually, just having 3 colors doesn't really give me a lot to work with. Like, for example, like if we were to do a sketchbook cover, what would that be, like an A5 size? We'll just imagine A5 for a second. And that's quite small. I'm just going to ×2 it just so I've got a bigger size to work with. So there's lots of things we could do in terms of designing a sketchbook cover, but where are you? Yeah, there you are. I'll grab you too. Bring this up. Actually, something else I didn't mention, even with the type as well, the word inspired being thicker and this being lighter, it kind of is mimicking the characteristics from the mark as well. So there's that synergy. So let's just say this is a sketchbook cover. And what we could do. And I'm just making this up, really. I've got no idea how this is going to look. So we're going to have this line up perfectly there. Nice. And what we could do is if this was a single color print, we could do a tint of the yellow if we were using spot colors, but let's not think about too much about that for now. So we could do something subtle. You can go lighter, you can go a bit darker. Whoops, cut the wrong bit off. There we go. Oh, whoops, I missed the yellow. Silly Dan. So we'll make all this a compound path now. There we go. Grab that side. So whether you've got like, you might have patterns or the mark itself or the type, and you can use it as almost like a bit of a watermark. And then you could make that more or less subtle, or you could make it a color if you wanted. There's tons of different stuff you could do. Of course, we've got to get this on there as well. If we were going to use the white, I'd probably get it printed and check. Because whilst it completely failed the accessibility thing for the web standards, if you were to get that printed, it would be fine, I think. You got to be careful with yellow. Sometimes, like if you were to have white, and in fact, we'll try a white and yellow version.
Dan,
Hello.
I have a question.
You have a question?
What time are you PTing tomorrow?
Oh, I thought you were going to lead into like a course segue thing. That is a good question. Where's my phone? I don't know where my phone is. I don't know. I feel like it's 11, but it's on my phone. So I can't actually answer that question, I'm afraid. Sorry, that might not be the answer you want, but it's the answer you're going to get. It wasn't the answer she wanted, but it was the answer she needed. Dee No, I need an actual answer, Dan.
Hello guys, what's the cheapest price people have paid to have a logo made?
Probably a fiver. Probably nothing. Probably just. I mean, it's yeah. So how long's a piece of string? I think that is that like a British expression. I don't know.
Is it?
Yeah, you not heard that. It's. I think it's the point it's making is it's such an open-ended question. It's like how long's a piece of string? Well, it's as long as you let it be. Like, I think that's the point. That I don't know. I'll shut up. Oh dear. Okay. Right, there we go. I'm just trying to get this to meet at the bottom. I'm definitely obsessing over this more than I should at this point. In fact, let's alter option and click, and then we get. Actually, no. Yeah. We alter option and click. Yeah, there we go. Cool. Watching from Uganda. Oh, awesome. How would the logo look as a favicon? Cool. Tiny. So what is that? Your 32 pixels size. To be fair, I think it will be all right, actually. I mean, I gotta be honest, I never really put too much stock in favicons. They're small and totally, like, irrelevant anyway. Who's looking at a favicon? Like, so we'd have to do the height, wouldn't we? At 32, yeah, to fit it in. I think this one will be fine. That sort of size. Let's make it nice and light. So if I just zoom out now. Yeah, it's the kind of thing I would test and check, but I think, you know, even at 32 pixels, I mean, it's hard to make out a lot of anything at that size, but I think it's recognizable. Yeah, I think size and scalability is always like a really important thing. I think if you took a lot of logo designs that especially more intricate and had a lot of detail, they would just look like a smush at that size. So that's probably why I think it is useful to check that sometimes, and website headers as well. You know, sometimes you might have a logo design that's very vertical, and you go, oh yeah, and then you scale it down for a. This is meant to be a logo design, by the way. I know it's a squiggle. You scale it down for a website, and then it's like, oh, actually, that really vertical logo is really tiny, and then something like that. Oh, and there's the favicon, and it just comes a smush. But yeah, usually if you've got something pretty clean and simple, it'll fit. So that's just one off the cuff example. That could be your sketchbook cover. And I think the white off the yellow would be fine. I really do. With anything print related, if you're getting it printed, hopefully you're getting a proof from your printer anyway. And you know, there's loads you could do with a sketchbook. You could have a photo, you could have your artwork, You could have a collage of all your artwork. You could honestly, you could do anything. You don't have to just use the branding, but it's just one thing you could do. Yeah, I mean, you could actually get rid of that. You could have the white, or almost white. In fact, let's get some grey behind. If you want to mock up with white, I would always just have like a big block of grey behind. Yeah. So in terms of readability for the web, obviously that would be a fail, but if it was something printed, it'd be fine. Why are you outside? Yeah, and then or you could even get rid of that, pop the logo in the middle, have that in the other color, so the gray. Just have this in the middle, and then take your best favorite artworks, Jason, and then have them. Let me just change the color and have all of them collaged together like this. And then so this is a representation of your artwork. Please don't take offense. So that's your artwork. You've got your splashes of color, your style, and then you've got your inspired life here. And you could even pop that in a circle or something. So I feel like that would look quite cool, actually. And you could even get the line in there, sketching the world one line at a time. Or, I mean, this design, it does flex itself quite well. I'll probably stick with the central alignment. There's no need to sort of break that consistency really, but you could do a left version if you wanted, but I'm looking at it and I'm like, well, why? Yeah, there's no real reason to do that. It's tricky when you're working with a brand like this and you have all these different touch points where people are going to interact with it and different things you're going to get it printed on and stuff. You know, if it's working centrally and it's consistent, it's great. If you start kind of pulling parts of the logo around for different bits, you can end up essentially bastardizing the logo, and suddenly it's not represented consistently in all the different places. So it's another good reason why it's good to do these mock-ups as well. There are bears where you live. Oh my goodness. Oh, sorry. Oh, that was the favicon question. Layout in terms of graphic design. I think oh, I mean it depends. It depends who you're talking to. Was it your a workshop at your church? Yeah, it depends who you're talking to. Are you going to be talking to designers or non-designers? If it's designers, you might want to go into the theory about, grid systems, modular grid versus hierarchical grid. If you're talking to people who aren't designers, you don't want to really go too heavy on the theory stuff because I think it just, it go right over the head, whatever. So if it were a group of non-designers who were going to be doing their own design work and their own layouts, for example, I would talk in less design terminology and talk about things like spacing, alignment, yeah, without using lots of crazy terminology. And then use real world examples as well. So kind of some of the stuff that we do on the streams, where like, I might get a web graphic like this. And it will look like that, you know? And I could very easily sort of say to someone, right, well, first thing you got to do, centrally align your text. We've got to center it, the alignment, center it within any container or space that it's in. So your spacing either side is good. You can centrally align it vertically as well. Space things appropriately. That's way too close. That's too far apart. Keep it related to the text, and then you could push the call to action a bit further apart if you wanted. But then obviously we've got to adjust the spacing. So all this space around here is nice and consistent. You don't have to do that, but those little details, as you can see there in that just terrible example, they're the sorts of things that mistakes that a lot of designers make, and non-designers will definitely make them 100%, but they're very easy to fix. So helping them to see those sorts of things and think a little bit more like how a designer would might be quite helpful. Oh, that's a good point, Raquel. Yeah, favicons are useful when you've got lots of tabs open. Yeah, so you could even do a yellow one. Something like that. That's a really good point. The tabs point. The book on the right looks like a mug. Interesting mug handle. I'm not entirely sure how you're gonna hold that, but can you look at the camera and say hello, Muck Sudbeck? No. What am I? Some performing monkey? Ha! The possibilities are endless, yeah. And this sort of stuff, you're then sort of getting into the graphic design side of things as well. But yeah, like I think in terms of at the moment, just with the logo, it's like okay, it's going to work. So when it comes to mugs and things as well, you know, I'm very confident that this design will work on a mug. It's more the things where I'm not yet confident that it works, and then I'm mocking it up and going, okay, we're cool. Yep, flexes for mobile where we don't have a lot of space. That's fine. How's the font looking? Social media, yep, boom. So those are some of the core pieces. The yellow's growing on me. Yeah, I was playing with orange, and then it was between yellow and orange, and then when Poppy spotted the sunrise, obviously this was always a sun, but the reflection in the water, it was like I don't know if you saw this at the beginning of the stream, Jason, but there was these versions here, and it was like it looks cool, but I don't think it has any of the fun element. The pencil here is over prominent, so you then lose the bridge. You upset that hierarchy, and then this doesn't have the sun thing, and there's a reflection now as a different color. So yeah, it was. I said, Jason, earlier on that I was watching one of your YouTube videos last night, and just hearing you talk about your passion, the art, how you're out in Central Park on a Saturday, and just hearing you talk about that sort of aspect of it, the fun, the community, the freedom. It was like we need to use color to try and get that in there, get that element in a bit more. And I think the yellow orangey spectrum, the stars were aligning to go down the yellow orangey sort of route. And it's a fun color as well. It's a fun color. Could the logo be outlined with white? Which one? What? Like a white board around it? You could do. I would stay away from white strokes. If you've joined any of the streams where I've gone on about white strokes, they're one of those things I think can, yeah, it's not my cup of tea. Let's put it that way. I think black strokes usually work a little bit more effectively, but yeah, white strokes I would normally stay away from it unless you were going for like a stroked design. Oof, even then though. I think with the thin lettering it doesn't, yeah. Strokes to me are a little bit like shadows as well, unless it's kind of part of that identity. Um, like with shadows, drop shadows for things. With a lot of UI stuff, you can use soft shadows quite nicely. But sometimes when it comes to drop shadows with design work, I only really use it if I need to use it. So like this, for example, it would either, I wouldn't really add a shadow to this unless it really needed it. I mean, you could do like a hard shadow, I suppose. Yeah, so it'd be more, shadows would be more for me like, oh, I need to use it because it's not standing out enough, or it would be like a stylistic choice. So that's why I was kind of toying with adding like a harder shadow or something, but oh. Left versus justify, which is more pleasing to look at when it comes to design. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Left versus justify. Well, left justification is this, and then fully justified is that. It's a little bit of a trade-off. So here, in fact, let me just, that's a good question. Let me just pull the boxes down. So they both occupy the same space. So it's not like you're saving space by force justifying it. You can get some odd spacing. So that is something to be mindful of when doing that. But equally, you get more clarity on your columns. So look at the design of these two columns. Let's say it's an article or a newspaper or something like that. They use justification a lot. So, it's fine. As soon as you have something like this, it looks clean. So the spacing here is inconsistent to make everything fit. But I don't think it's enough that it would it's not a problem to read. If you were to go this one, which is maximum force justify, that is a problem, right? Because the lines here where there's just 5 words, that's weird. To me, I would probably make that trade-off because I would, depending on the design you're working on, I would prefer having my columns have that clean structure, which makes everything just look cleaner. And the spacing and consistency isn't enough of a problem. Whereas if you do force everything, like I just showed you, that can look terrible. Oh, that's all right. Yeah, I was just having a cruise around the old YouTube last night, and it was yeah, it was just interesting hearing you talk about it as well. And it was like, oh yeah, we definitely need to get some more fun, passion, and a bit more of something else in here. But because otherwise, you could design the logo and it can be clean, but it could just look too modern and clinical and too not corporate. But do you know what I mean? It's like, where's the fun? We need to get the fun in there. Meant to pop the logo out against the yellow background. Ah, yeah, we had to get the fun in there. The fun, the passion, the freedom, the community. Hey, Rebecca. It's been a minute since I've caught a live. What if in the text logo you make the words in Inkspire that yellow color so the whole thing isn't all black? Yeah, I did try. I don't know if I got rid of it. A version somewhere that colored up Inkspired. I think I did get rid of it actually. So if I just use this as an example, we could do that. And then add the Inkspired in there. Again, accessibility problems. So have I got the accessibility thing? Where have I stuck it? Yeah. So we're on, on top of white. That yellow and white is probably, I mean, we can check it. I don't know if it's going to pass. Also, I feel like it just takes away from the mark as well. You could do that, but I think we're going to have problems. So foreground, background, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, fail. So there's not enough contrast. Even with a white background, it's got more contrast in the grey. So there's one answer, and I think a big part of Jason's presence is online as well. So it's yeah. Yeah, I think let's just say like the whole thing had a different aesthetic and it was a very dark modey kind of thing, and you were only going to really have the logo on a dark background, then yeah, the contrast between the yellow and the black is going to be a lot more and probably be fine. But when it's yellow and white, you got to be careful. Yeah, oh, I mean, Rebecca, we've worked on this. We've done a lot of work on this. It kind of started up here with the brief and it's gone, whoa, dee 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 dee, back up into the top right corner, apparently. And I'm running out of workspace space, so yeah. So when I'm doing logo design, whether it's the design itself or I'm picking colors, there's all of these things about kind of trying to sort of highlight one word and highlight different parts and see how it looks, blacks and whites and reversing it out and color. There's so many different things that go into thinking about it, and I'm very much a designer who's very methodical. Like I'm very logical, methodical. Every decision, there's usually a reason why something is the way it is. Like it's usually not just, oh, I prefer that or I like that. I'm very like practical, I think, as a person as well. Do you say I'm very practical, Poppy? Am I very logical?
Eh?
Did
What's that?
you say I'm just explaining? I'm trying to explain that I'm very practical and logical and methodical. And this is the bit where you just nod and agree. All right, just never. Do you know what? Never mind. Never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kick her under the table.
You're not always.
No, sometimes they make no sense at all. But when I'm like explaining something, I'm always very methodical, and there's a reason. When I'm designing something, oh, is the stream still playing? All right, it's doing a thing. YouTube says it's something or other.
Buffering.
Buff, is it?
I don't know if it's mine.
Are the boys watching something or on something or?
Oh no, you're fine.
I'm fine. Okay, right, I'll just ignore YouTube. Shut up. What was I saying? Oh yeah. So yeah, if you said to me, why is the text centered? Why is the color there? Why is the stroke weight different? Why is that bold? Like everything's got an answer. Do you know what I mean? Like, whereas I think sometimes I probably did this more when I was earlier in my career, and I don't know if this is just more of a, different style of design, but I would add kind of things to the design because I liked it. Why would you add these dividers? I like it, it would be more of like a just adding it for design's sake. Whereas I think, I don't know if it's just my design style or late, sort of something I developed later in my career, but everything, I could articulate why everything is the way it is because it's gone through that process of like decision making. I'm not just adding, if I'm adding a divider line here or I'm separating that with a divider, there's like a reason why I've done it rather than just for funsies. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. Like, yeah, like maybe that's just me. Like when you're working on a design, do you add certain elements because you just like them stylistically, or do you kind of add everything very logical and very methodically? Two steps away. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. A bit darker. Oh no, I like it. I like it. I like it like this. There we go. I'm just completely undoing everything I just said. Yeah, I mean, accessibility wise, we are. Oh, look at that. A star. Yeah. Yeah, and that's on the grey as well. So I think if I were to make this is probably, and that's a really good point actually. If we were to make the grey darker now, it's not because of accessibility or any other thing like that. It's more stylistically, like in terms of visibility and contrast, there's not a lot in it between those two. The main reason that I did want to go a bit lighter than like a black was to get some more, get it just looking a little bit more industrial, a little bit more, I'm not sure what the word is, but just something a bit more towards that. Yeah. Not necessarily the golds that were in the other example. You see here, these all look, these do look pretty industrial, but it was a nod in that direction. That's why it's not just a straight grey. It's like slightly warmed up. So if I go into it, you can see here, hue sliders kind of around the yellowy orange area, and I've just pulled it away from that left edge. This would completely strip out the color. It's a really minor difference, but it's one of those things that it's like with grey actually. Let me show you another example. A lot of UI design, you can just use grey for certain elements, but grey can just look a bit boring sometimes. So what you'll see on loads of UI design is designers will hover around the blue part on the hue slider. And in fact, I'll do it before and after so you can see what I'm waffling on about. And they will just pull this away from the edge, and it just adds a little bit of blue into it. That's probably too much actually. It's a very subtle change. But can you see the difference there? One of these is completely no color, nil point. And then this one just has a little bit of color in it. And so then when you start kind of building different UI elements on top of it, sample the same color. You go brighter, but you still have a little bit of that blue. You could probably see the difference as you start building out like more UI elements. One version looks like a, grayscale wireframe, and the other version just has a little bit of life. You don't even need to go that much. It's just the slightest little nudge away from being fully desaturated. Let's do it really subtle. Even there, like hopefully if you're watching this on a computer, you can see the difference. And you apply that to an entire website, it makes a big difference. So that's just one all right. That's just one example where those little changes, they might seem very, very particular and no one's going to notice, but when you're building a brand and you're going to have these colors not just displayed with tiny lettering, but you might have them on a broader scale or something, those colors do become important, So you might look at that and go, well, that's not really that important. But like I say, when you've got this plastered across a big website, you know, that's on a giant screen, you're going to see that life in this version versus the grey version. I always need to have a reason for anything I add into a client's design. So what sort of client work do you do, Jason, with your illustration? Would someone commission you to do a particular piece or something, or so you work with the students, but do you do clients as well, or would it be more kind of teaching someone? I've learned that in graphic design, everything we use has to have a purpose. Yeah, I think it's more like art is very much creating for you and creative expression from you, and design is more about problem solving, you know. Like when I do the Photoshop art, the photo art stuff, you know, the stuff that I love doing that. That is art. That is me creatively expressing something I want to do. Whereas something like this, you know, it's obviously there's the creativity in there, but I'm not just doing it because I want to express it. I'm designing this for someone else, for their brand, and it has to serve a purpose. So I think that's probably the biggest difference between the two. I like that you're checking the contrast for accessibility. I've started to do that with every design. Yeah, I think it becomes more prominent with web stuff, like with print. Hopefully you're getting a proof anyway from the printer and you can kind of look at it with your eyes and go, you know, doesn't that work? There's still sort of certain color blindness elements that you've got to check as well. Like I've got a friend who I was showing a design a while ago, and there was a blue. What was it? It was a what was it for? I can't remember what it was for, but there was like a blue and a purple. I think it was something he was working on. There was a blue and a purple, something like this, and he's not colorblind, but slightly colorblind, and he couldn't tell the difference between the two colors. Now, me, I look at that and I go, well, it's blue and it's purple. It's, you know, it's clear to me, but not everyone sees color the same way. So that's something to consider.
You can take those color tests
Mm.
to see how far you can actually see. I got quite far when I did that.
Did you? I'd like to do that. That'd be quite fun, actually.
Yeah.
My inspired life is more my thing, teaching and sharing love of sketching, architecture, and urban sketching. My architecture business is designing residential projects. Okay. So that's not so much under the inspired life branding, I'm guessing. Is that sort of like treated like a separate thing? Dansky, yellow and blue are complementary. Complementary colors have great contrast. The gray you're using, that yellow, the grey you're using with the yellow comes from yellow, and it would look better, in my opinion, if it came from blue. No. Yeah, I think it's more. It is probably one of the areas where you could, but I think it's yeah, I think it's probably just an element of a personal preference in there. Oh no, I do prefer it. I do prefer it being, yeah, I do prefer it being that color. It just gives a little bit more of a nod towards architecture and the colors, I think, of architecture rather than something blue. Yeah. My high school teaching is teaching architecture. Ah, okay. Creativity and Design Technology Studio. Many hats indeed. Okay, less architecture. I mean, actually, one thing we should check, see how it looks. If we were to use that as a solid color. Let's just grab this version here. Not necessarily that you would often use that. I think, you know, when we do like the website and that, I think it would probably, off the top of my head, I feel like it's going to be a very light palette for the site rather than going full dark mode or something. But at least you can see here that it does have like a readout of that. But like this version here, you know, it's probably going to be a lot less common that it will ever look like that, and it would more be dark graphic on light background. Oh no, I've got rid of the one above. Oh, come back. Come back, yellow. Oops. Hmm. Oh, do we start having a look at the website? Let's make a start. Let's just get something. Flipping heck, I'm running out of space now. This is becoming a problem. This document is going to start to. Oh, there's a little before and after. The current logo, and then that's actually the wrong logo now. It doesn't look like that, but right. So let's. I need to create space. So that's the reject pile down there. We'll throw this down there as well. I've got to make some space for web stuff. So we'll dump you down here. God, I really have pushed myself into a corner, haven't I? What about all this space down here, Dan, you idiot? Goodness sake. Okay, right, we'll push that into the corner. And then the web stuff can go here. So can we do, oh no. Can we do an artboard in an artboard in Illustrator? I think we can. Let's not worry about that too much. Let's just do a rectangle and go 1400 by, oh, we'll do 1000. Right, we need a grid system. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it would be a very interesting case study. I mean, we've got a lot of footage. I don't know. How would I? I mean, I did think about this the other day, Jason. I'd love to be able to pull this video into some sort of process. Sorry, the streams and the whole process into like a 8-minute YouTube video, just talking through the thought process of where we started, what we moved on to. I mean, maybe I could organize this chaos into like a bunch of artboards and just talk through that. Do you think that would be a useful video? Just kind of more along the lines of retrospectively looking back and going, Alexa, stop. That's my chicken. Just kind of going, we started with X and then that wasn't right. So we went to Y and then we went to Z and then we did 3 different versions, A, B, and C, and then B was the one we went with, and then we moved on to having a version D, E, and an F. And do you see what I mean? Like an explanation of how the journey progressed, but looking back at it. Do you know what I mean? Desktop. Right, what are we there? What is the grid system I used? I've not used Framer in like a week and I've forgotten how to use it. Oops. Where are you? Oh my god, Dan, I've totally forgotten how to use the damn thing. How do I get the guides up? How do I get guides up on Framer? Oh no, I've forgotten. Is it effects? No. Um, hmm. Layers? Where is it? Oh, yes, please, Jason. Yeah. Yes, please. Anything you got like that, screenshots and things that I would use. It'd be a great video. Okay, yeah. I mean, I feel like it'd be a bit of a waste not to do something like that, wouldn't it? Just going back to what I was saying before about there being a thought process that kind of got us to this. Never a straight line though. Right, this is the design process. That's literally what the design process looks like. Okay, let's not worry too much about grid systems and all that now. I was trying to find the one that my website's got, but I cannot remember what it was. Oh, it's going to annoy me though. It's nice having a system because then you can space things apart. Right, so that is... Let's do that. We'll add some grey behind. This isn't the website. This is just like a workspace. And we'll do the header. So what we're going to go for, Dan? We're going to go for maybe 90 on the header. Oh, and all of a sudden we're doing web and UI. So if you clicked on this, looking for color and logo, we've moved on from that now. Apologies. All right, let's grab some bits and pieces and we can start to see this stuff come to life. See, this is where the grid system's handy because then, like, where do I line this up to? So what have I got? 1440 wide. Right, so I'm going to go 1200. I'm just going to have to see if I can remember. Oh, I feel like the gutter spacing was 30, like the gap. Oh my god, my smart guides have stopped working. There you go. Okay, there we go. Right. All right, what is the best way for me to do this? Path split into grid. Right. Columns. Let's see if this works. Oh, whoops. Columns. 12. And then the gutter. I feel like it was 30. Does that seem too big? I swear it was 30. I'm going to measure it in Framer. It won't take me long. Actually, no, I can't measure it in Framer. What am I talking about? Idiot. Was it 24? It might have been 24 with a width. Yeah, that's round pixel width. I feel like it might have been that. That'll do for now, though. So. And And then we should be able to grab all that, group it together. I'll give it a different color because it's impossible to see the grids. So there we go. That's my 12 column grid there. So I can align stuff to this now. So, oh no, okay. Sometimes Illustrator goes a bit funny. If you pick a wrong font or you do something it doesn't like, it disables the GPU. So I'm just going to reboot it. Best place to get info to. Oh, are you in the Discord, Jason? If the easiest way, if you're not in the Discord, you can DM me in the Discord, but that's the easiest way to get stuff to me. Hello@dansky.com, and that'll come straight through to my inbox. So yeah, bits and pieces, anything you got, man, honestly, just throw it all over to me, just sling it. Or you can join the Discord, yeah, there's a link in the stream description. And I'm in the Discord. Most times we chat. People can DM me in there, but you can email it as well, whichever's easier. But just sling over whatever you got, man, and then I can just sort of Tetris it all together when doing the different bits. Right, there we go. Let's see if it's re-enabled my... Should have re-enabled my GPU. I've got to have it enabled because otherwise when it disables the GPU, it disables scrubby zoom and it only lets you click and drag. So yeah, view using CPU, it does this. And I just can't do that anymore. I need to be able to just zoom in and out on different bits. Yeah. Right, so we've got the grid system now, and I think I'm going to stick it on its own layer. Just going to make it easier. So we'll call this guides, we'll lock it, and we'll call this one artwork. Yeah, so the guides won't move by mistake. In fact, we'll drop them down to like 10%. So they're visible, but not selectable. So now what I can do is I can line this up. So this is why you would have a grid system, and it will make designing responsively a lot easier as well. So when you have a grid system, you will design to this, you will snap your different elements to it like so. And then on tablet, that would responsively collapse down to this. And then if you're on mobile, it would then collapse down into one column. So when you're designing to a grid system, you're effectively you're able to consider responsive design at the time of designing, if that makes sense. Why are you whispering? Why are you whispering? Alexa, you slag! Set time for...
Being considerate.
I'm so rude to Alexa. I'm just the worst. If AI ever takes over, Alexa is just gonna laser me straight away.
I'm tired.
You are.
Yeah. I'm falling asleep at my desk.
Oh, bless you. Working today, and naturally I get called away after the stream started when they could have done all morning. Oh no! But you're back now. You're back now. Hello from Myanmar. Hello.
What are you doing to these?
I saw them the other day. That was not me. I am not the foil bandit. Right, we need to get those links in. So I didn't really pick a secondary font, but outfit's a good one. Good as any. We'll throw it in for now. We can always change it. So what have we got? We got workshops. Size-wise. Oh, 16 is pretty good. Color-wise, we're going to use this. This is where we're going to get to see that palette being used with a wider application. And we know that this color, good contrast-wise. We've ticked that box. Also, when you're aligning to shapes, you want to make sure you go to, when you're aligning text to shapes, check this option here. because otherwise it's going to align to the bounding box. And as you can see here, the bounding box is not always the text. You want to align the text inside the white rectangle at the top, not the text's bounding box. So, okay. So there we go. We're going to drop the track in, bring those characters slightly closer, smush them, duplicate a bunch, and we can sort the order out in a minute. We've got store, we've got courses, we've got about, and we've got contact. We've got to figure what we're actually going to put on this home page in a minute. Right, let's select all of these. Now at the moment, I want to space these all equally apart. For text, you don't want to go and use this option here. You want to use distribute spacing. And then it will actually space them, not based on the fact that they are an object, and it will space them according to the actual spacing between them. Especially useful for text and website navs. And again, we're focusing on details. This is the stuff that every web design should have. We're looking at the spacing here, top and bottom. This should be equal. So the links are central. This is central, lined up to the left. On the right, what would we have on the website? Do we have search functionality? Do we have, well, there's a store. So I'm guessing there is an add to cart option. Probably. I got a little bag over here, shopping bag. Could be a bag, could be a cart. I'm not precious either way. But it's an easy thing to mess around with. Round you off, there we go. And then round cap, get that nice modern aesthetic. Or we might go for something actually a bit more angular, because there's no rounded corners in this design, so arguably I think we should get rid of that actually. We'll go for angles. Yeah. Anyway, we'll come back to that. We can finesse all of that nonsense. We need a login button. So we're going to design a button. Oh my goodness, this Illustrator file is starting to slow down. I can feel it slowing. I can feel it slowing down. Centrally align you in there. No search. Okay, cool. So just a store bag cart icon thing and then a button. Right. We got some text. They need to be nudged down a tiny bit, like a couple pixels too high. And we can eyeball it as well. Oh, hang on. It's 1 pixel in it, I think. All right, let's pop you in the center of said button. We could actually keep that squared off. I kind of like it. I feel like it's going to work with this aesthetic quite nicely rather than just rounding everything. And all of this stuff is going to be using our specific color. What I should do actually is I should set these up as global swatches before I start designing too much. I'll probably do that off stream because it's really boring. But what I'll probably do is set up the palette here as global swatches, and then I can create all of the other design stuff with those global swatches. And then if I did decide to, let's say, make some fine tweaks to the yellow or the dark gray color that we were looking at earlier, those changes get updated across everything rather than me having to tweak it by like fraction and then go and apply it to everything else. I always watch and learn your Illustrator videos, and they help me a lot easier to do. Thank you very much, and please keep doing Illustrator tutorials. God bless you. Ah, thank you very much. Thank you, Aerith. I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way. And if anyone does want to learn Illustrator with me, I've got my courses for Illustrator and Photoshop here as well. Beginner courses, masterclass courses. Hello, child. And yeah, it's not just a course, it's like learning with me. So if you get stuck, have questions, want to get better at design, I am here to support you on that journey. So for websites, some say you should start with mobile. I'm planning my portfolio site and starting with desktop view, wondering how you feel about that. It depends. If you've got any data that shows where the majority of customers are coming from, that can inform that decision. For me personally, if you're starting with, I would always start with desktop. If you're starting with desktop and you've got a grid system, and you're thinking about it in the right way, you can effectively design for both at the same time, you know? So when I'm, let me show you what I mean. So how am I going to do this? I've locked my grid system, haven't I? Let's move this all over so I've got a bit more space. And then we'll duplicate it over here. So I'll show you how this grid system works with the nav. So,
asleep on the sofa.
oh, Mummy's asleep, is she? Bless her. Meep. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, with this grid system now, we're just literally just using a few columns. Just got to get the sizing right. So we're going to go width plus 24. I would be using whole pixel values, and I should be using whole pixel artboard values, but I'll mess around with all that after. That stuff's not very interesting to watch. Right now, it's more about the creative. So we've got our columns there, and when you start adding content here, like if you have 4 columns, you can see though, instead of being horizontal, they become stacked. So obviously we've got a lot of stuff here. This ain't all gonna fit on. So what we could do is we've got a menu icon here. So of course we're gonna collapse all of these links inside that menu icon. Where's it gonna go? Probably top left, I think. You could have it in the middle and have it drop down, but I think the left would be a good starting place. And what else are we going to have? We've got, this would be student login or login. So Alexa, stop. So let's get the logo in the middle. And now, what have we got there? Width 330.
Just opened up the cupboard and Rue ran into the cupboard.
You ran into the cupboard?
Yeah.
He is a bit silly. So then we can bring this icon in here. And these guides need to be less prominent. So let's group them together, drop it down to, is it 15%, I think? Yeah, I think so. Oh no, 10. Thought they looked different. There we go, 10%. So again, we've still got that grid system, and you can always set this both set these up together and design at the same time. But the more you do this, the more you'll start to think about things responsively as well. So it won't just be, like you're testing something blind and then you put it on and it's like, oh no, it doesn't work. You'll start to get an understanding of how responsive websites and these grid systems start to work. So like if I just kind of what I showed you before, if I just get some content in there. So let's just have some content blocks and you'll see what I'm talking about. I could actually turn these lines into actual guides, and I should do really, but this is fine for now. So imagine that these are, links to something or other. And then when you put this on mobile, they would just become stacked instead. We've got to have the same width between content, which I think is 24 pixels. So we're going 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're not just you see everything I'm doing is accurate, tight, considered, measurements, spacing, consistent, and it's very important. We'll centralize these links as well. And then we can just hide the guides when we don't want to see them. I just threw in some stuff on Discord. Amazing. Ooh, perfect. Oh. Nice. Okay, right. This is cool. Got some source to work with. Some substance. Okay. Right. Let's lock these. We'll move those down. We'll come back to that in a minute. Maybe that'll be a thing. So, and if I was designing a full web page, obviously these would be a lot longer. Right now, we're just focusing on the concept. So we're not doing the whole page. We're just doing enough of the top of the page and mobile to see how everything we've done with the brand and the colors and the blah, 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 all of it actually translates to a real thing. And obviously stylistically as well, we're thinking about icons, rounded corners, sharp corners, relating that back to this. There's no rounded corners in any of this, so I feel like a sharp cornered thing. Aesthetic style would be good. That then applies to icons as well. The whole logo is very linear. I do love me some good linear icons as well. Linear versus like solid fill. So some icons, some buttons are very solid. Some icons are solid as well. When you're doing icon design, you don't want to mix two different styles, in my opinion. It can look a bit weird. So we're either going for like a more linear icon style or a solid icon style. And I think linear is going to be better because it kind of will reflect the architectural, structural element of things a bit more as well. So yeah, hopefully my rambling makes sense. There's yellow on my site. I feel like I've seen this site a long time ago, Jason. I would have been on it a long time ago. So subconsciously, maybe that was in there. I don't know. That's the yellow I had earlier. That is the yellow I had earlier. And then I just made it a slight bit lighter, slightly less mustard, more towards a slightly more vibrant yellow. It's probably pretty close, actually. Let's check. I want to check. I want to see. It's not going to be the same. What are the chances? No way. There's no way that is going to be if that is the exact same color, I will get up out of my chair and do a little dance. Out of some millions and billions of colors, there's no way it could be the exact same color. No, it's close though. This one's just a little bit darker. And I've just gone a bit lighter here. That's flipping close though. Yeah, so what are we doing there? Okay. That's weird. That's almost weird, actually. Yeah, so then I think I'm right on the top. When you drag it to the top, you get the most brightness and vibrancy. Saturation wise, almost identical. That is hilarious. It was meant to be, man. It was meant to be. So close, though. I'm sorry for anyone who wanted to see me get up and do a little jig. Oh, funny. Yeah, so you could go for yellow for the header, and there's definitely scope to play around with that. But I feel like the best aesthetic would be to kind of use a lot of white, light grays, a lot of plain color for the UI itself, and have that darker color. So dark on light effectively, and then use splashes of yellow for content. Or for buttons. The buttons could be quite useful rather than the block yellow, but we'll see. What have we got here? Want to get inside my sketching brain. Ooh, images. Images, images, images. Yeah. Or we could use... So we could have different call to actions. Oh, Illustrator, you are struggling, aren't you? We might have to do a fresh document at some point. And then what's this one going to be? Just white. Yeah. So you got your primary and then your secondary call to actions. Consistent padding on either side. We'll do it manually for now. This is fine. So that would be the button treatment. I mean, actually, if we're going to have block yellow, primary that's not going to work. So primary, we could actually do this. This could work quite well. So in terms of things like login and stuff like that, that's going to use the secondary call to action, or CTA as it's often referred to. And then the primary one, this needs to contrast ideally against the page or the content. This is like the thing you want people to click on. So it might be join the workshop, buy the course, buy the product, go to checkout, blah, 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 complete your purchase, whatever. We're probably not going to be using yellow as the button, in all honesty, because of accessibility reasons we've already looked at. So, and I think this will work off anything, if I just drag this around, this is standing out against anything. So if we do want block yellow, which might be a thing as you go down the homepage, at least we're gonna have that there. So yeah, we'll start with that. That's our CTA. Let's get some text in there as well. Click here to sign up for the Inspired Notes free newsletter. Okay, so that's top. I'm guessing is this the homepage, Jason? I'm guessing that's top. So what is the main thing? What is the main thing that you want people to do? If they were to do anything with you, land on your website, what is the perfect route that someone could take? Would it be join a workshop, sign up to your newsletter, enroll in a course, workshop? If you could only pick one thing, like the main thing you want someone to do when they land on your website, what's it going to be? And then that's what we're going to put front and center. Sign up for the workshop. Okay. Right, gotcha. Okay. So a lot of times you would wireframe this to start with as well. You would wireframe the whole homepage using grays. No color, no style, no fun. Just wireframe the whole thing. Get your content in there, and then you would start laying bits out. So this is a bit of an unorthodox process in that we're just kind of diving in, but sometimes it's good to just strip out the color and look at getting stuff in. Sign up for the workshop. Okay. So sketch the world one line at a time, just a slight play on that. We're keeping our text as area type as well. So as I scale this down responsively, I can then, you know, plonk this over here, scale it down, and I get a sense of how it's going to respond as well. Whereas if you're using point text, it's just gonna it's just gonna do this. So more important. Okay, right. So I feel like for this, we're going to go with a left alignment, and I will explain why in a moment. So we're going to line this up over here with that left margin. We've got our primary CTA, which is going to say something. In fact, we're going to left align this. And it's going to say, sign up, join the workshop. Maybe sign up free. Is it free? No, it's not, is it? What am I talking about? Join the workshop. Is the workshop free? just before I put that on there. The free workshop. No. It's not free. I don't know what this guy's doing. Right, we're gonna beef this up. And this gives us some space over here for an image. So we're just kind of covering half. Let's make that a bit beefier. And then down here. And at the moment, we're just literally freestyling, getting things in place. We would define H1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 type styles, all that stuff, set it up as character styles in Illustrator. If we were doing like a lot more UI stuff, I don't know how far we're going to go with this, but you would set it up as a character style. And then any text I go and add to the website would use one of those 6 character styles. And then if I want to change the size of the hero text, for example, the headline text, I would change it from the character styles panel, and then every instance of that text gets updated. You know, so I can nudge it up a few points or down a few points if I want to, and I don't have to go and do it manually everywhere. Austin, hello, a beginner here, excellent. Love me some beginners. Right. Something else we might also do is have 2 different sizes. So we've got our like primary CTA size, but sometimes, oh goodness me, Illustrator, come on, keep going. Keep going. We might do like a slightly larger one for things like the homepage. And we might bump the text a bit more on this as well. Just because the homepage and this top part here is just such a prominent place. You want people to see it. You want people to do the thing you want them to do, ideally. All right, there we go. That looks pretty good. So let's get rid of you, and then we need a field of some sort. We'll flip the colors around. Set this to white. I totally will give you credit on my page for logo design and add a link for you. Oh, thank you. Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you, man. Enter. Is it a free workshop? Sorry if you answered that. Is it a free workshop? Or is it would in fact, yeah, would this be like enter your email, sign up for free, boom, you're done? Or would it be click here, and then you go to a page where you can pay and then buy the workshop? Because that's gonna determine if this bit here is just enter your email and you're away, or do you go to a page and then you read more information? It's a little off topic here, but I need your advice on brand identity design course. Like, I want to go into that direction with my career and suggestions. Oh, I don't know who to recommend when it comes to logo design and identity. I don't know. I mean, I think Will Patterson's got one, and James Barnard's got one. I don't know. Like, they're two guys who know their stuff clearly, but I couldn't say anything about their course or what it's like. I don't really know. Like, my courses they're not just logo design. Like, I've got my Illustrator masterclass that's about like, there's a module on logo design, logo type design, identity design. It's linked in the stream description, by the way. But if you're specifically just wanting to do logo design, I'd probably suggest looking at a course that is just logo design, if that makes sense. So in my masterclass, we do a lot of logo design and logo type and designing custom fonts, but there's other stuff as well beyond that. So if you were just looking for logo design and branding in particular, yeah, I don't know. Have a look at mine, see what you think. But if you look at the other stuff and you're like, I'm not really interested in that, then I would recommend trying to find a course that is just about logo design and branding. Sign up for workshop notification section. Oh, right. So what, like a get notified? Something like that. Yeah. So just a kind of email sign up. We could put a bit more descriptive text in there. It doesn't need to go to a whole page. In fact, there we go. Yeah, in fact, what we could probably do is have something over here. So you'd have your image, and then we'd have a play button. In fact, I'm getting a feel for the style, the visual style a bit more now. I got some ideas. Cooking. All right. I think I'm gonna have to take a break soon because I've been sat down for a long time today. I've been a bit of a lazy sod, but this is a lot of fun, so that is a problem. Oh yes. I can feel it coming together now. It's coming together. Yeah. So we'll need to have some other colors, some light grays and stuff. That ain't passing accessibility, but there's ways around that with borders and blah blah blah. So in fact, an easy fix for that is to just do this. It's kind of cool, actually. You can sort of start to see the whole site will have this style, this very squared off edge. You can even see it in the type. You can see it in the icons. This is going to be a play button. So I've got to figure out how that's going to look. I might be able to grab some stills from some of your YouTube videos, Jason. I know there was like B-roll shots of you kind of sketching in the park and stuff. So that could be kind of cool to maybe grab some of those. Or if you have any like high res, I don't know if you've got any like high res photography of you kind of doing your thing, or just any like really cool photos. Yeah, get that in there. Play, play, play. Oh, excuse me, that was a little burp there. Oh, that snuck in, didn't it? This is a really good example about optical alignment as well. This is something else that I cover in my course, the Illustrator Masterclass as well. We do go into like a bit more theory in that one. The first beginner's course is more about let's just get you using Illustrator to make stuff, and then the masterclass for both Photoshop and Illustrator is more like, you know, the tools. Okay, this is how you make stuff and use different techniques to create more professional looking work. So here you've got a triangle inside a circle. Now if I select both of them and centrally align it, Illustrator says that it's central, and technically the bounding box is, but the icon doesn't look centered, and that's because the triangle isn't just a symmetrical shape, it's weighted more to the left. So because it's weighted more to the left, even if we centrally align it, it still feels like it's left aligned. So what we've got to do is pull it to the right to compensate, and you'll see now, you should be able to see quite clearly that the one on the right feels central, even if technically it's not. And the one on the left looks weird and off center, and it's called optical alignment. So you have to use your eye effectively. You have to train your eye as a designer to adjust the balance of things. And you'll see this in type quite a lot as well. And that's just always a really good example. Every time I do a play button in a circle, it's like you have to compensate for that. Oh, right, okay. Let me... Okay, well, I'll give you a custom sales pitch. This is just for you, Alexander. Yeah. So if you already know how to use Illustrator and you want to actually like learn how to make specific things at a professional level, the masterclass is better suited for that purpose. There's a trailer as well that shows some funky stuff. So yeah, so I like these examples. These are fun. So there's an entire module on logo and identity. So this is like a custom logo type. So that's just kind of a typed font. And then what we do is we completely redraw the lettering from scratch, and we customize it to turn it into a custom logo type. And throughout all these lessons, there's lots of like theory in there as well. So, you know, as you see me on these lives talking about, oh, I'm going to do that because of this decision, and I'm going to have this, like even here, you see the T? The crossbar on the T kind of curves around the letter S. All these little things are decisions that I'm making, and I'm explaining it as I go through these. So if you like isometric diagrams, we do lots of that. We do isometric logo design. We turn this into an illustration as well. Yeah, this may look familiar. So we've kind of got that isometric logo design from earlier in the process, because I just flipping love that. So if you like creating isometric style logos, there's that. This is, yeah, okay, this is cool. Yeah, so this is a logo design that someone sent me ages ago, and there were like a lot of technical imperfections and it wasn't very consistent. And so we go through that and take it from where it starts. We then add a grid system, and then we learn how to design logos using these custom grid systems, because it just makes life easier and you get a better result. So you have to like use this sort of stuff. You can see here, using a grid system, you just get better spacing, bits and pieces line up, and you just get a better end result with less frustration. Icon design. So simple icons, sexy looking icons. And then, yeah, this is Illustrator's native 3D capabilities. It's good for some things if you want to take a design and instantly 3Dify it. But if you want to create actually usable 3D stuff, like and have delicious 3D icons with just beautiful lighting and all this stuff, then you need to go from Illustrator to Adobe Dimension, and then you've got a bit of Photoshop as well. So Dimension is 3D software, Adobe's sort of free 3D software, and it's very useful for just creating custom 3D models in Illustrator and then bringing it into Dimension and doing all sorts with it. So that's not it, by the way. There's like God knows how many lessons. There's loads of stuff, all this stuff here. Pixel perfect icons. You've got a whole module on typography, drawing, pen tooling, all that stuff. Logos, scalability. We've done some of that today. Logo types, different types of logos, cleanup, complex shapes, buttons, things. There's just depth and realism. God, there's quite a lot in there, isn't there? Yeah, the glass morphism, neon effects, graphs, doing really advanced graphs, data visualization, and then some custom scripts and bits and bobs. Oh, and animating. If you want to animate your logos in After Effects, we've even got some After Effects snuck in there at the end as well. So yeah, and this has turned into a full-on sales pitch now. I'm gonna go for it. I do a terrible job of mentioning my courses. I said to Poppy, I need to do a better job today of actually mentioning the damn things. So there's a free course that you get with it for icon design as well. So it shows you how to create like 40 different icons. These are things people use all the time: speech bubbles, rosettes, puzzle pieces, hearts, cogs, arrows, sparkles, teardrops, that sort of stuff. That's like a bonus course you get free. We do a monthly meet up every month where we just kind of get on a Zoom and do some design or have fun. I'm here to help you. You get lifetime access, and then if you're not happy, just let me know. 30 days, boom, get your money back. No problemo. So that's the masterclass. And this is first class kind of with the masterclass. So they're kind of bundled together. And then if you want to do Photoshop as well and just learn absolutely fricking everything, then there's that, and you save like 28%. Cool. Sales pitch over. Oh, thank you, Jason. I think one thing I don't do a good enough job of is selling the support that I provide. Like it's one of those things that kind of goes unseen, but there's I think probably some of you on the stream today where we actually message quite a lot and people send me their work by DM in the community in the Discord. And so I do work with quite a lot of people on a more one-to-one basis, and that doesn't cost anything extra. Like if you enroll with me as a student, like I'm just going to be here to support you until whenever. So if you basically, I guess what I'm saying is if you want me in your corner there when you have questions or get stuck or you're like want to, oh, should I do this or shouldn't I do that? That's another thing to consider. I don't talk about that enough, really. I need to do a better job of actually mentioning that. Okay, right. Centrally aligned optically. Beautiful. So there's a play button, and then I would probably, at the moment this doesn't have any kind of real photo content, so I would need to get some actual photo content stuff in there to see how all of this is going to look, because it all looks very clean now. But when we actually add photography, how is that going to work with the style, with the white? Yeah. So we're probably going to have some white in there, aren't we? Oh, cool. Okie dokie, I will grab this. So we've got to figure out how we're going to treat this now. This works really well actually. Because if I were to blur a lot of this, I don't suppose you... Hey, sausage. I seem to call everybody sausage. I call the kids sausage. I call you guys sausage.
Hello.
Everyone's a sausage.
Oh, microphone. Hello.
No, that's a microphone, you goose. Go on, you
Hello.
go. No, you go in there. Sorry, that's the 5-year-old. Oh dear, funny, funny little badger. Yeah, if you've got any photos like of the highest quality possible, the biggest resolution, the biggest size, that'd be amazing. What I was going to say is this would be really cool because I could blur a lot of this in Photoshop and then the text would sit over the blur. So if I send this all the way back, obviously you can see here that ain't going to stand out. So we've got to figure out how we do this really. You know, do you run the whole image the full width and then have the text on top of the image? Do you have the image just occupy like this half? Do you go full half like this and go like half and half split? Or do you have the image black and white across the whole thing? Or do you have the image fade out to white so the text stands out? And then all of that, how does it work responsively? So that's where this whole grid system will start to come in. This stuff here is really easy to do because you can just take it side by side and go bunk and pop it together. When you start adding the photography and the content like this, you've got to then think, okay, you know, if I'm having the image run behind the text on desktop, how is that going to look on mobile? So, yeah. I'm fascinated with UI design. It's good fun. I think it's perfect as well. It's very suited to my brain, I think, Jason. Like, I'm a very methodical, problem-solving person. Every decision I make in life, I'm always looking ahead and trying to foresee problems and pain points and outcomes and all that nonsense. So, you know, it kind of lends itself really well to UI UX stuff. And I like the precision. So working within a grid system and being able to space everything, line everything up, all this stuff is nice. It's good fun. I'm glad I came across Dansky's YouTube page. I'm now thinking of taking the Illustrator first class. Shout out to Raquel for sharing thoughts and experience with Dansky's courses. Oh yeah, I mean that's another good thing. Don't take it from me. Don't listen to what I say about my own courses because obviously there's got to be a bias in there, right? Yeah, like ask other people who have taken them. Like I know there were a few people in the Discord the other day talking about some Udemy courses that they've done, and the Udemy courses are great because they're really, really cheap and you can learn very, very cheaply, which is good. But it depends what you're looking for because, you know, when you've got like a course with 20,000 students and you pay £20 to do it, you don't really get access to like support from the instructor. You know, you're kind of on your own. You do have a public Q&A where you can ask questions, but, you know, the chance that you're going to get a reply in a timely manner is probably realistically a lot lower. So I think it as well, it depends. There's lots of things to consider, but it depends what kind of support you want. If you're like someone who's just like, I want to learn as cheap as possible, I don't want any support from you, Ginger, then yeah, like check out Udemy's courses. But if you're someone who wants someone there when you get stuck, then I don't know. Maybe give it a look in. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, we could and probably should do a stream on UI design then, because I love it. I've got like a career built on it. Normally you would use something like Figma or something like that, like UI design software, but there's no reason why we couldn't do it in Illustrator. I think my channel's more geared towards Illustrator anyway, so And Illustrator is fine for UI design. You just obviously can't prototype things and all that sort of stuff. But in terms of conceptually coming up with designs, Illustrator, you can design and export assets as well. So it's kind of like Photoshop. You know, it might have originally been intended for photography, but you can do a lot with Photoshop and Illustrator beyond just photography or illustration. Yeah, yeah, UI is fun. Okay, maybe we need to do one. Yeah, 2 steps away. Honestly, if you've got any questions, just let me know. Give me a shout, and I will do my best to help. Actually, I think if you are into UI design, sorry, I'm going to just do this really quickly. I don't want to sound like a walking promo, even though I probably should do this more often. So with the Photoshop course, it's not just for photographers, it's actually more for designers. So yeah, we do some photography stuff, and there's a whole module on that. But we do a lot of photo manipulation, kind of sort of crazy, awesome artwork. There's design for print as well, mock-ups. There's actually wireframing and web. So we do like a whole homepage, and that's in the Photoshop masterclass. And then we do an entire technical illustration as well. So going from Illustrator through to Photoshop. That's not a photo, that is an illustration created in Photoshop. And we do some animation as well. So if you want to create this piece of artwork with the penguins is actually a module in itself in the course. But then I think it's later on towards the end, we do actually animate it and bring it to life like that. So yeah, there's less UI stuff in the Illustrator course, but there's more in the Photoshop one. So I just wanted to kind of mention that. Oh God, they took so long to make. I'm so glad all 4 of those courses are done. It's been like just, how long did it take? I think the first ones went up around October. It's probably been like 6, 7, 8 months of work. It's been a slog. Oh, you like the game controller? Yeah, it's interesting one. You look at it and go, oh, like when you first do it, it's like, oh my God, that's insane. That's not real. Like you can create realistic stuff in Photoshop very quickly, just using shading. But there's like certain techniques that just make it stupidly easy. Oh, thank you, Andrea. I did a Photoshop Illustrator course last year, and that bored me to tears, and I had not learned anything helpful. Between Dansky's lives and the courses, tons more helpful, and support is superb. Oh, thank you, Nick. Oh yeah, that's no good. That's no good doing a course and being bored to tears. That's usually as a course instructor, that's not the outcome you want, but oh, this is coming together. This is coming together nicely. I'm really liking this. Oh, so fun. I get to use my UI skill set again. Yay. Right. I need to go and eat some chicken in a minute. I can hear the chicken calling my name. Yeah, so this will be something we have to consider, is how that image kind of fits in, and then how does that affect this entire section. Discord. Oh, cool. All right. I'm going to use that then. I will use that as the content. I think I just chucked in some stuff. All right, we'll do that. Oh no, what have I done? We'll just do that really quickly, and then I'll go get chicken. So what have we got? Rust. No, I can't spell. Rust and render. Sketching. Oh my goodness, Dan, what is the type? To be fair, there's a microphone that's kind of in the way of the keyboard. It's restricting my hand movement. It's not my fault, honestly. That's my excuse and I'm sticking to it. Okay. So as you can see, when you start adding more content, obviously that like text, that does change things. We've got quite a bit of text here. I'm going to type this out. I could get ChatGPT to do it, but let's do some typing. Think of this online workshop as your creative sketching playground. And this is one way that I would probably use AI actually. When I would initially look at that, I might go, oh, that's too many words. Let's get the number of words down. And you could like copy and paste it in AI and just say in ChatGPT and say, this is what I want to say. Just reword this to be like 75% less length. So that's one way that I do find it quite useful. But before we do start chopping words out, there's lots we can do design wise. For beginner and intermediate artists who are captivated by the raw beauty of industrial architecture. And of course, we obviously, for this section, you want to say enough to actually get people interested, whereby they want to give you their email and sign up. So, if it's just a one-liner and it doesn't really say anything, probably not gonna sign up. It's your chance to play, experiment, and let your inner artist explore the bold lines and weathered colors of aged industrial structures. This is almost like the voice of the cheese segment. Lots of typos in there. This is what I'm looking at, by the way, for anyone wondering what the heck is happening. So this is kind of the workshop section. So obviously a lot more content to work with, but we can always pull this around. And this here, with lots of text, it can look a little bit too much on the eyes sometimes. So what we can do to get around that is just space the lines apart a bit more. So like a little bit of spacing can just make everything look a bit more digestible on the eyes. Now this is a lot of text. So 5 lines. It is a lot. So what we could do is we could break this down. I will go ahead at some point and design some set type styles in terms of sizes. So yeah, H1, that's going to be your biggest headings. H2 is going to be like subheadings, and then H3, 4 on that is going to be your smaller body copy. So for example, we might do something like this. I'll need to go and like play around with the styles. And of course, doing that, you can sometimes it just looks a bit too much, and you have too many different type styles in the header. So it might be that you do that and you keep it shorter and sweet, because sometimes if you give too much information and it just looks like, oh, like as much as it might technically contain everything you want to say, if people don't read it, then it doesn't matter. They won't read it, and they'll. Do you know what I mean? When people land on your site, everyone's got a very short attention span, and you've got like a few seconds, less than 6 seconds to kind of get information across to people before they bounce. Oh, thank you, Raquel. Have a heart. Yeah, I feel the same. I really am growing on this, and I feel like I've had this font for a while, and I feel like sometimes in the past I've got a memory of seeing it and sort of turning my nose up at it a bit. But I feel like seeing it now within the context of something, it's literally the perfect font. It just ticks the boxes and it just fits with so much, and it's in the logo as well, albeit in uppercase. I feel like when you know, if we were to use it uppercase here, it would just, especially with this, it would just come across very loud and shouty. Looks nice, but it doesn't appear as friendly and, you know, community, fun, approachable. So I feel like the sentence case version, or sorry, no, the title case version is just a bit more suitable. Yeah, and that's the thing, Jason. It might be a bit more concise. Whether that is just removing any sort of extra bits, or just if it is all really important and, you know, this bit here, it's your chance to play, experiment, and let your inner artist explore. That might be quite important. So trying to get AI to reword the whole lot. I'll try. I'll try it now and just see what it does, because I'm curious. So if I just dump this into ChatGPT and say, please reword this into one sentence about half total length, and just see what it does. This online workshop is a creative playground for beginner and intermediate artists to explore the bold lines and weathered colours of industrial architecture. What do you reckon? Does that tick the box? Add more icons. Why would you add icons? Where would you add icons? What would be the purpose for adding icons? There we go. 3 questions. I'll wait. Good idea to make more. Oh, we did that. Is that one of the typefaces you created in FontSelf? No, it's not actually. It's I feel like it's an Adobe font, which is good. So my ones are Dan Sans. This was the ones with FontSelf. Oh, Illustrator is really struggling. So it was Dan Sans. I think I did Sparta Sans, which is a monospace font, which is great for stacking. Like if you want to have something stack, crack, smack. Oh no, M is slightly different. Slack, brack. I don't know what a brack is. But if you've got a design and you want to stack it as a monospace font, it works really well. Obviously, letters like I and M don't really fit, but if you like things lining up, it's quite cool. And then I think the other one was Cyber Sans. I think I did a bold one as well. This was inspired by the Cybertruck when that first came out. And it's very similar to Sparta Sans, but it's got more angled corners. And it's not a monospace font. Is it monospace? Oh no, I think it is actually. No, it is still most of it. But you can see it's just got some more angles and things rather than being totally squared off. But yeah, they were fun. They were fun making those. Ooh, that sounds cool. All right, let's do that. Oops. Yeah, I've used this on my course sales pages. Honestly, it's so much when I want to have like the wording, like I just like kind of type what I think, and then I'm like, okay, just reword this to be spread over 4 lines, or if I've got different bits of content either side and I want them to kind of be the same sort of height, I can just say reword this within 120 characters and it will do it, you know. Play, explore, and grow. Yeah, amazing. So it still says the same thing, but it just says it in a way that I think is more succinct and less intimidating to look at, which means there's probably more chance people are going to read it, quickly understand it, and then once they understand it, if that's right for them, then they're going to click sign up. If it's too much text, doesn't matter if it's been written by the best wordsmith in the land. If they don't read it, then it counts for nothing, you know? So rust and render. I mean, even removing that, you know, rust and render. Like, I know that's the name of the workshop, but yeah, obviously you can trim too much. So it is a balancing act. You know, you don't want to trim out too much stuff. And if you were going to rotate different workshops in and out over a period of time, you probably want to keep that in because, you know, it might be a different next, I don't know, month or year might be a different workshop with a different title. So people that come back might see a different title and go, oh, it's a different workshop. I'll sign up to that. But yeah, you see, just kind of getting the amount of content down does make a big difference. Right, I need to go and get some chicken. The sun is pretty much gone. And I need to stand up. What time did we... Oh, this is nearly 3 hours. Oh, boosh. Very good, very good. Oh, my goodness. Oh, this is fun. This is actually... I didn't expect to be doing this much UI design. But it's actually progressed quite well. Started off with some color and bits and bobs. But yeah, you could see here, like I said before, this is just checking the logo. This is more about just checking the logo, but you can see now we've actually transformed this into some more high fidelity designs, and you can sort of start to see how it's coming together. Oh, we all need to stretch. Yes, we do. We do. Hey, Schofield, that's a good question. Why Illustrator instead of Figma? If I was going to go and do, like, let's just say, like, we were going to do the entire website, it would probably be Figma. Yeah. It would probably be something like Figma, or maybe even Framer, and just build it as a live site, and then I could show it to Jason responsively. But because we're not, we're just conceptually presenting this. You know, we're not doing every single page. We're just kind of going a bit beyond just the logo and the brand identity, and we're just translating that into other visual things. So where's my list? We're going to do a bit of website stuff. It's not even on the list, actually. Website. We'll probably have a social media post, some sketchbook covers actually mocked up, and maybe a nice tasty mug as well. So we'll maybe do a sketchbook mock-up of this. So, and this is what you would do when presenting to a client as well. You know, showing a client just a flat logo. Oftentimes when the client may not be a designer themselves, or even be creative, you know, they're not going to have the same appreciation for all the crazy level of detail that you are. And by doing the mock-ups we're just doing it in Illustrator, and we'll probably enlist the help of Photoshop as well. It makes it a lot easier when you're presenting to a client to kind of really convey their vision. You know, someone posted, I think it was Minnie the other day, posted a logo in the Discord, and people kind of had some feedback and opinions, and yay, this is good. But when they then, I think one thing I said was, let's see some mock-ups of the logo. When they then presented back like what was it, like a PDF, I think, with the logo mocked up on this and on that, and seeing it on a thing, and I can't even remember the specifics, but when you see it then actually mocked up on real world stuff like boxes or tape or caps or mugs, and actually how it's going to be used, it makes it much easier for a non-creative person as well as a creative person to go, oh right, I see how the logo is going to look, you know. So if you are doing a logo for a business, instead of just sending them the logo or expecting them to get it in the same way that a designer would, show them it. Show them it mocked up on clothing, on any store POS material, on the signage outside, on the vehicle graphics, the business cards, the little name tag bits and pieces, the mugs, the merchandise. Show them instead of trying to tell them and describe to them how it could flex across their entire business. Just show them pictures of things with it mocked up. It makes it so much easier to kind of not only sell your vision for their business and their branding, but it makes it easier for them to understand it as well. And it's good as designers as well. Like as I'm going through this process and I'm mocking up the website and stuff, and we're defining the type styles and the styles for the icons and the other treatments and bits and bobs, that's going to start to potentially inform other elements, you know, because like on the website, for example, everything's very linear, from the buttons to the icons to the text field to the play button. It's all, even the divider here, there's like a lot of line work going on. So that could be translated over to the sketchbook, you know, and it could be, oops, something like this. I'm just literally making this up now. How am I going to do this? So we'll adjust. Like I am really literally just making this up. Do you see what I mean? So everything's linear, and that linear style is just being continued throughout everything. So that was obviously a terrible spirograph example, but so yeah, to answer your question, we're just kind of coming up with the concepts. So we're just dipping our pinkies into the different pools of how the logo and the branding is going to be used and where it's going to be used. And we're defining styles and things. Just so we're not just designing a logo. Everything's been considered, from logo to type to color to style to treatment. And with all these mock-ups, and it's easier just to do this in Illustrator for me. You know, yeah, I could jump into Figma, but you know, I've got everything here. I'm more familiar with Illustrator than Figma, and I've just got everything here. And for me to be able to hop backwards and forwards over like this, rather than jumping backwards and forwards between Figma, it's just so much easier. And if I need to, I can bring any imagery in from Photoshop as well and just link that. So Photoshop and Illustrator play so well together. So, oh, thank you, Jason. I appreciate that, man. Name of the font. This one is CY. It's a very strange name. I'm pretty sure it is an Adobe font. CY, Psy. This one here is Outfit. We could use that. It's a clean. It looks good. Yeah, it is a good UI font, to be fair. But yeah, I flipping love that. It's come together so beautifully. I'm so happy. I hope you like it, Jason. I'm over the moon. Yeah, Poppin. Poppin's very similar as well. Yeah, Poppin could be a good one. To be honest, I hadn't really thought about fonts too hard. Mostly this one here, but the body font Yeah, I could switch in a few different ones and see what works. That would be pretty easy to pick one as well. It is Adobe. You took it. Ha! Nice. I'm ecstatic. Yes, excellent. I like this. This is a first for me. I've not done client work for a long time, but I've never worked directly with someone live like this. So it's nice to be able to get that just to have that whole kind of real-time process. I don't know. Maybe this is a new type of design where you get to do it all live and it's just the whole thing is collaborative. I've got no idea. It's coming along great. Amazing. Oh, thank you. Pop-ins is what I have on my store site. Okay, right. So I think picking up a font for the body copy is going to be comparatively easy compared to everything else, but let's have a look. We'll consider it. Consider pop-ins. I've not really tried any. Outfit was just the first thing that came into my head. I think picking fonts is going to be super simple. Yeah. Maybe down here as well, these could be links to other stuff. So this is like the workshop, but then maybe down here, there could be a store link and a courses link, and a something else link. In fact, actually, there could be other workshops. So this could be, because this could be fun, because then you could design some icons for those and they would have like a linear style. In fact, the icons, I do love a good icon that is very linear but then has a splash of color. And then that is where you might start to see other accent colors coming in. And what I mean by that is, you know, let's just say I design that icon there. And that's going to have a splashy yellow. And then we do another icon here for the store. And then that's going to have a splash of pink. And then we do another icon for the courses. And I don't know, another color that you use, maybe a blue. I don't know. Just, you know, so you could go the whole yellow, dark gray color and white. Or you might think, oh, okay, I just want a secondary and a tertiary color that I can use sparingly just as an accent to break things up, you know? So it just kind of breaks the things up. Or you might just think, I want them all the same and consistent. That's other and obviously when you're doing that as well, you know, you might think, oh yeah, I want to have a secondary and a tertiary color. And then you could, of course, go back and then build those into the palette over here as well. But that is experimentation for another day. I would love to carry on with this, but I think my eyes hurt. What I will do though is I think if we were I like Poppins a lot. Go eat chicken. Aye, aye, sir. Yeah, so just if we were going to promote those things, again, look, this is how you can see this grid system flexes. Let's just say we're going to go from 4 columns to 3 columns. God, the snapping in Illustrator today is rough. Yeah, so all we do is we just take out a column. And there we go. We've got 3 columns instead of 4. And you don't need to think about spacing or anything. You know, it's just a lot of that stuff is already predetermined, which is nice. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's cool because it just means you can focus on the creativity rather than, you know, faffing around with manually spacing and dragging and lining up. And again, that's why the grid system is just so flipping useful, really. It just takes a lot of that guesswork out. So we'll get those centered, and then again, these links here, they might be in the H1 or the H. In fact, actually, we could even have, let's have an H2. For me personally, obviously, it's going to depend. I like to have the main brand font nice and big, massive, super big version. And then we have the H2, which is like a smaller version of that. On my own site, I've got H1, biggest font, capitals, bold italic. In fact, is it on my site? I'll show you what I mean. I'll show you in action. This isn't like a sneaky course promo, by the way. So you've got your H1 there. I think this is the H3 actually. But then, where is it? Yeah, sorry. So H1, huge, biggest text on the page. The H2, same, but slightly smaller. That's for your titles. And then H3 is dropping down to sentence case. So rather than all caps. But it's the same font. It's just treated slightly differently. So this might be a similar thing here. H1, H2, H3. And then if I grab this circle, yeah, I might have to do a file version 2, I think. Illustrator is really struggling here. So then you could do workshops. Is that lined up? It's not lined up, is it? There we go. Yeah. So maybe I'll extend this down and do a bit more, but then you'd have an icon there. And these icons would be a little bit more involved than your typical menu icon and your bag icon. So there'd probably be a blend between that and then the logo mark as well. So that maybe we'll do that on the next stream. Maybe that'll be like an icon stream or something. Or I'll flesh this out a bit more and then look at gaps where I do need graphics and icons and bits, and we'll bosh that out in one go. And then once we've kind of done that, again, you can see translating all of this to mobile is just so flipping easy. We just boosh and then resize it and you're done. But as long as you stick to this grid system in some way, as long as there's a methodology there somewhere, you know that it's going to work responsibly on mobile as well. Yeah, the padding is 24 pixels. So it's 24 pixels between different elements, and that breaks into something like, was it 75 or 78 per column? So 12 column grid. Yeah, well, this will all kind of this will be like a good indication of like style across everything. So hopefully by the end of this, there'll be like not just a logo, but a style, visual style that you could then apply to other stuff. And then if you wanted to go and rebuild the site and use this and bits and pieces, then at least all of those ideas will be there on the table. My Dansky approved website. Yes. Oh man. The amount of times I'm critiquing websites or people's vans or signage or posters or menus. Goodness me. Yeah. Vehicle graphics are terrible. I would say 90 to 95% of vehicle graphics that I see out and about are bad. Whether it's just the logo or the text position or the alignment or whatever, it's really weird. It's very strange. And then there's like 5 to 10% that are amazing, really like memorable, well designed, correctly sized, spaced, positioned. I take pictures usually on my phone actually. If I saw a terrible logo earlier on, I just stood there like, oh my God. He was like, what? I was like, look at that logo. flipping awful. 2 words. One was tiny and the other one was just giant. And it was like, oh, how did this happen? Oh, thank you very much. Oh, thank you so much for the $10. I appreciate that. You're an absolute legend. Is that a pair? Is that a pair? Bowing. That is incredible. A pair with a headband. That is adorable. Oh, thank you so much. You've piqued my interest here for sure. Oh, amazing, Nick. Into UI, yeah? I critique buildings all the time. Yeah, okay. So you know what I'm talking about. It's just when you have a craft and a thing that you're really good at, it's just yeah, yeah. We can't help ourselves. We're professionals. Yeah. Oh, cool. Oh, thank you very much. A bowing pair. I know, indeed. I love it. Oh, amazing. Well, thank you so much, guys. I'm glad we got to do a weekend one. I wasn't sure yesterday, and today we came back after being out with the kids, and I was like, I got that itch. I got to work on this logo. I could play the PlayStation and relax and have fun, but instead I wanna go live and do the logo. So I'm glad we got it in there. Yes, it is hard to turn it off. I don't even want to stop now, but I need to because there's chicken out there that needs eating with rice cakes. Oh, amazing. Right. If anyone is interested in my courses, there is a link in the description if you want to learn. If you want to learn Photoshop or Illustrator, I'm your guy. So there's a link. Right. Have an amazing weekend, everyone. And Andrew needs to be. Oh, that's hilarious. That's funny. Right, have an amazing please. Oh, I can't even speak now. Oh, that tickled me, that did. That was funny. Oh, amazing. Fantastic. Right. Yay. Have a good weekend, everyone. And I'll catch you next week. Bye. Where's the outro? Aha! There it is. Ta-da! Actually, let's play the course trailer instead. Much better. Oh, good idea, Dan.